This is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gulin from Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Barb Gulin provides her clients and prospects the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful strategies to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now here is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gulin.
Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Gulin, and hanging out with me today is my buddy and pal, Tony Shore. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Barb, and hello, listeners and viewers out there. Great to be here with you, Barb. I'm excited. We're here. We're recording this right before Easter weekend.
We are, and this is going to air right before taxes are due in the United States.
Yes.
Or at least the tax returns. But before we start talking about that, let's talk pizza.
Well, you know, it's funny because your topic today, I thought of pizza because there are three certainties in Tony Shore's life, right?
Okay.
There's only three certainties in life for me.
I'm sure I have a smart aleck response to that.
Death, taxes, and pizza.
Okay.
So those are the three certainties in life, for me anyway. Pizza is a certainty. That's a for sure thing. And death, understand. We all pass away. We all have to pay taxes, and we all eat pizza, right? I mean,
well, little asterisk by that, because I spent many years life living a gluten-free lifestyle, which made eating pizza very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And I still,
of course, now there are a lot of gluten-free options, cauliflower crust and other options. They're not as good, but they're out there.
And my blood work has been coming back that it's okay for me to have gluten now. So I don't go crazy with it. I still do try to stay gluten-free most of the time because my brain likes it better.
Smart. Yeah.
But when you have a significant someone in your life who has flour imported from Italy to make pizza crust.
Oh, wow.
Give me all the gluten.
Yeah. That's why I can't be gluten-free, because I have to have the pizza. Yeah, but I mean, you have the Italian background and you have that, so you know good pizza. I mean,
partnered with a baker, you're just like, it's a recipe for needing to walk and lift a whole lot more weights. Let's just
more exercise will be needed if you eat that pizza. Yeah, we live really close.
Tasty.
Yeah, we live really close to a place that's run by an Italian family, and it's really good Italian food. They make their own pastas, they make their own sausage there, and their pizzas are to die for. So we go there for pizza too.
Yeah. It's part of my heritage.
Yeah,
just really is. So, and while the crust is being perfected, the only topping we're having on it is cheese.
Oh, wow.
And sauce, obviously.
Yes.
But, and I had made the pizza sauce from scratch that we were using, but he ran out of that and used something out of a jar last night. And he was like hiding the jar from me because he didn't want me to know. And I'm like, as long as it's not, I'm not going to say the name of the brand.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's some bad ones out there, but there's some pretty good ones you can buy.
There are some good ones. But I have made my opinions known on the different Italian available in my hometown.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's decent, let's just say my opinions, if I don't like the sauce, are creative. Suitable for mixed company, but creative.
Sure. So we got to tie pizza into taxes because we're talking about how to have a tax-free income in retirement, right?
And the idea is for us to give the IRS the smallest piece of the pie possible. Challenge accepted, mission accomplished.
Look at that. I love it. Way to go, Barb. Way to go.
Have you been waiting to use that sound effect?
Yep. And in fact, let's celebrate. Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely the Friday before a holiday. And
yeah, we're having some fun with the show. But you know what else is fun is tax-free income in retirement. How do we do that?
Well, we've been conditioned through saving for retirement. Once those defined benefit pensions went away in the 80s as ERISA was passed and other laws emerged. And if you've got questions about that, reach out to us either through anchoryourretirement.com or call us at 913-553-6222. That's a little bit more than we need to go into on today's show. We all started saving money on our own through our 401k plans, our 403b plans, thrift savings plan if you're a federal employee, 457 plans if you work for the government. And until 1997, the only option that we had was to save that pre-tax. In 97, Roth accounts were introduced. But again, that's another topic for another podcast, and we'll get to that. All of that money was put away tax deferred, with the story in our heads and that the media and everybody was saying was that you'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement because you won't be making as much money. There's a flaw in that logic to begin with. So the challenge now is to take those tax deferred dollars if you aren't participating in a Roth retirement. And even if your employer is offering a Roth option for your 401k, they're matching their money into the traditional because that's how they get their tax deduction.
Right.
Okay. And the IRS says it's kind of how it needs to be done. So the question becomes, how do we create that tax-free bucket of money that we can access later on? And the two most efficient ways to do that are to go through Roth conversions with the money that you've set aside. Again, a little bit harder to do until you're 59 and a half, or to start building cash value in a life insurance policy, which is something you can do at any age as long as you're healthy.
Yeah, because the money can grow within that policy and then it comes out tax-free, right?
Right, because the way the IRS looks at it, you're borrowing money against the cash value of the policy. You're not actually forfeiting the policy. If you were to go in and forfeit the policy, you're actually going to create a taxable event for yourself. So
don't want to do that.
No.
The goal here is to minimize our tax burden in retirement. And like you said, people make the mistake of thinking that, I won't have to pay much taxes in retirement. I'll be in a much lower tax bracket, what have you. I just talked to somebody who actually, because they had saved and done well and worked with a financial advisor, they actually would have their income per month in retirement was going to be able to be bigger than their take home was in their working years. So
I have clients like that between their pension and their Social Security, they're making more take home than they did while they were working because they were busy saving.
Right. And nobody wants to take a pay cut in retirement. So you might be in the same tax bracket. I mean, you might be in a lower one, but when you start taking money out of those tax deferred accounts, it could bump you up. Right.
Well, and in those first years, those go-go years when you're recently retired, by God's grace, still have your mobility and your health. Those are the years that a lot of my clients want to travel and want to check those things off of the bucket list, where they might actually be spending more money in retirement than they were when they were in their earning years.
Sure.
So, how do we deal with keeping those taxes reasonable, and how do we know when we have somebody who wants to have that kind of lifestyle? When we know that in advance, we can plan for it in advance and do what we can to create that tax-free savings. A lot of time your employer plans, by and large, are not going to let you convert from traditional to Roth in that plan.
Right.
Okay. Thrift savings plan won't let you do it. A lot of them won't let you do it.
Right.
So it's a matter of when you know better, you do better. So you take control of things by going in and, somebody famous has said there's 2 different tax codes in the United States, one for the informed and one for the uninformed.
That's a great line, because how true is that? You've seen that, I bet, a lot with people coming to you.
And, the one thing that we have to face head on is the legislative risk of, right now, things are the way they are because that's what Congress said. But there's nothing stopping Congress from going back and trying to change those laws. In 2021, the original version of the Build Back Better plan capped your ability to convert from traditional funds to Roth funds based on your adjusted gross income. Thankfully, that was thrown out of the legislation before it became law, but that doesn't mean that provision just died. It is sitting on a shelf waiting for somebody in Congress to say, let's dust this off and reintroduce it and see if we can make it pass this time.
Sure.
So, your brokerage accounts are going to be taxed at capital gains, whether it's short-term or long-term, depending on how long it is. Now, if your income is low enough, that capital gains tax might be 0. But if you've done a good job of saving, the likelihood of that becomes slimmer and slimmer. So, for those of you who are still in your earning years, if you've got that Roth 401k option, it might be worth it to talk to somebody like me who's a fiduciary who can help you see what those tax consequences are now for participating in a Roth versus continuing to make all of your contributions into the traditional. But, also looking at certain life insurance tools that build cash value, you can start implementing those regardless of your age. And for those of you who are trying to retire super young, there's a segment of the population out there whose goal it is to work for like 10 or 15 years and live on 20% of their income and bank the other 80% and then quote unquote retire. I don't know if you've seen articles about those. I've seen a couple of them. It's crazy
I have.
what people will do. You can't access money in a retirement account very easily. There are ways to do it, but it's very difficult to do it without penalty until you're 59 and a half years old.
Yeah.
So if you're
looking, you don't want to pay that penalty. I mean, because you have to pay the 10% plus the taxes on top of that. Plus the
taxes. It'll eat your nest egg so fast that your head will spin when you look at it. And especially if you have to pull that money out and it's invested in the market and it's a year where the market is going through some sort of correction or pullback like we saw in 2022. When you're compounding those losses along with a distribution, it can really kick your financial plan in the teeth.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at putting all of those tools together, we want to make sure that we're creating what I call in my company a successful retirement. Everybody's retirement looks different, and what looks successful to you might not be successful to the next guy. But, would you rather work with somebody that's going to custom design that plan for you and work with you hand in glove? Or would you rather have somebody plug you into a cookie cutter plan and cross your fingers and hope that it works?
Yeah, no, you want a plan that that allows you to sleep well at night. It's the old SWAN plan, right, Barb? It's the SWAN, sleep well at night plan.
Right. And sometimes one of the best ways that you can sleep well at night is to know that you have tax-free money that you have access to that will help support your lifestyle. Right now, Social Security is taxed up to 85% of your Social Security benefit is taxable. Notice I said up to, not a blanket statement.
Right.
The amount of your Social Security that becomes taxable is determined by the other income that you pull out. And when you are utilizing tax-free income sources, you aren't claiming those on your tax return, which then won't always, but can create more favorable tax treatment of your Social Security benefit. Again, more of your hard-earned money getting to stay in your pocket.
Which is what we're all looking for.
Right. I mean, we all, you can make the most money in the world, and if you're spending more than you make, you're still broke. This isn't a race. This isn't a race about what you're making.
Right.
It's an assessment of what you're keeping. And
it's more about what you keep and when you have it. It's not how much, but it's when you need it and when you have it.
Right. And if we can help you create those tax-free buckets, then we are helping you keep more than you've made. I mean, I was sitting down with a couple yesterday, wonderful couple, and they have both worked very middle income positions. Nobody's in management. One of them was a federal employee. The other one is in a service related job.
Sure.
Neither one of them have made astronomical incomes, but they are in their late 50s and they are millionaires and they are debt free.
Wow. Impressive.
It is, because they understood the value of what you keep versus what you make. And they didn't hop on the latest bandwagon every time something new came out financially. They don't go into their retirement plans and try to trade them every 2 weeks and try to chase the market. They just stuck to the basics. And now, because of that, they have financial and time freedom. Now
Wonderful.
We're working on helping them pay taxes now so that they don't get stuck with a big bill later.
Smart. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're really smart. And that's what you want to do. But the way to do that is how can I do that? Well, work with a financial professional, make sure you have a plan in place. Mm-hmm. And, the key is work with a trusted financial advisor who's a fiduciary, who's going to look out for your best interests. And I'm not going to name names, Barb Gulin, but I happen to know someone that you can call. And that number is 913-553-6222. So to get your own plan in place and to learn how you can have tax-free income in retirement, go to safeharborfpg.com or 913-553-6222, correct?
Correct, because there are a lot of people out there who have done a lot of financial work on their own. Okay. They've learned, they've taken the time to learn, and they have created a degree of financial success. However, a lot of these tools to create that tax-free bucket of income outside of investing in things like municipal bonds, require working with somebody who has a license and who can, especially, they don't necessarily have to be fiduciaries, but it's better if they're fiduciaries to be able to look at the whole picture and implement a strategy that's going to help you get out from under some of those tax deferred strategies, paying the taxes that you owe. We never want to try to cheat or go behind the IRS's back. That never ends well. Okay.
Right.
But there is nothing wrong with implementing the tools that we have in the tax code right now
to minimize your tax burden,
and implementing those to create that tax-free bucket of money for you to dip into for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I want to illustrate the point you made. And so our listeners understand, like, you can be like that couple you mentioned, and maybe they're thinking, hey, we were diligent, we saved, we're frugal, so we're set for retirement. But the problem where you come in, where you really have to work with a financial planner professional like yourself, is that turning that money, we've got all this money saved for retirement, How do you turn it into income? How do you not lose it to taxes, to market volatility, to other things, And so you have to have that peace of mind and that plan. And that's where working with a financial professional before you get to retirement comes in, to plan for that.
And even working with a financial professional after you've retired so that we can tweak the plan and manage the process for you.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really
important.
You can decide for the most part how many years you're going to work. You don't really know how many years you're going to be retired.
Right. Nobody has a crystal ball, but you can plan for a long retirement, and having that peace of mind is huge. And so tax-free income in retirement is a big part of a very successful retirement. And you mentioned two of the ways, Roths, and you mentioned cash value life insurance. And so if our listeners have questions about that, before we go, let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you. You'd be happy to sit down with them and talk to them about this, right?
We would. And again, you can go to our website, which is anchoryourretirement.com, or give us a call at area code 913-553-6222. And let's connect and let's see where you are and help you figure out if you need to make any adjustments.
All right. Well, Barb, great show today. This is a great topic. People I know we could spend hours on this one topic alone, but really we start getting into things where it's your individual situation, what your goals are. And that's why I know you'd love to meet with people. There's no charge or obligation for that initial consultation. Again, listeners, pick up the phone, give Barb a call. She'd love to talk to you. She has a great team there, 913-553-6222. And Barb, good show today. Have a great week.
It was fun. You too. Don't eat too many Easter candy things.
Chocolate eggs.
I almost said a trade name again, so I can't.
Yeah. Oh, you can say trade names. We can.
Marshmallows that explode in the microwave.
Oh yeah, the Peeps. Yeah. Well, I'm more addicted to the Reese's peanut butter eggs.
Oh my gosh, I already had a package of those. Not all at once. Not all at once.
Yeah. All right. Well, Barb, great show today. And listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Anchor Your Retirement. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound retirement plan. For more information, please contact Barb Gulin at Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. Call 913-553-6222 or visit them online at anchoryourretirement.com.
Advisory services are offered through Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.